Welcome to the regularly scheduled public meeting of September 1st, 2020 of the Township of Washington Township Council. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers in January, and this meeting has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board, Electronic Message Board, WCTV, and on the Township website. Salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag.
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Steve, can you hear anybody? Steve?
Only you, Sue.
I'm sorry, can you hear anybody?
No, I can only hear you, Sue.
Say there's,
It's the headphones, I think he has to change that.
no, I'm not hearing anybody through the speakers now either, so,
Well, you can hear me.
yeah, but I'm saying, I don't know if you're gonna be able to. I don't
Sue,
know
I
how
can
this
hear
is gonna work,
everybody.
Stacy.
Sue,
I
I
can
can
hear you
hear
through the headset.
everybody.
Yeah, but I'm talking
So
about from the outside.
What do you mean?
Steve can't hear you people. He can only hear me through the headset. I'm talking, he can only hear me.
We have, okay, Sue. Steve, can you hear me? Then maybe it's his headphones, I don't know. He has to call back in through Ninja, not the regular number. That's going to be his best option. Okay, all right, we're going to continue on. Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Public service announcement.
Stacy, can you just talk
Oh,
about?
sure, sorry. Let the record also reflect in attendance Mayor Calamari, Township Administrator Tovo, Township Attorney Poller, and Township Clerk Wikowski. Okay. PSA. For the latest updates, messages on the coronavirus, please visit the Township website. The September 11th memorial service will be held at the Township of Washington Memorial Monument located by the library. Arrival time for the service is 5:45 p.m. Observance will begin promptly at 6 p.m. The 2020 census. Currently, the township has 84.6% response rate. Let's try to make it 100% by reaching out to your family, neighbors, and colleagues. The census is quick, safe, and extremely important for the future of New Jersey. If you have not responded, census takers will be knocking at your door. Please take a moment to speak with them. They will wear masks, follow local public health guidelines, have a valid photo ID badge, and they may also carry bags and other equipment with the Census Bureau logo. Please visit the 2020census.gov website to complete your 2020 census today. Mail drop box. A blue drop box has been placed outside the town hall for all correspondence addressed to the proper department. For property taxes, no cash should be placed in the drop box, and all payments must be in a sealed envelope. Property owners, if your property is adjacent to a township-owned property and you are interested in purchasing such parcel, please send a letter or email of interest to Mayor Peter Calamari. Township Library. The library has begun reopening. Curbside pickup will be available Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between the hours of 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. For residents who are homebound, delivery will be available on Tuesdays and Thursdays between the hours of 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Please visit the website for further information. Town parks. Parks, playgrounds, and restrooms are open for recreational purposes. All facilities will be sanitized on a regular basis, and social distancing and face covering should be utilized. Next paper shredding e-recycling event will be held on Saturday, October 17th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Municipal Complex parking lot. No books, binder clips, or 3-ring binders, please. Bergen County Satellite Office Passport Reach Services and New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission scheduled for September 8th, 9th, and 10th have been canceled. Vote by mail. Vote by mail ballots prepaid with first-class postage shall be mailed to all active registered voters without the need of an application on or before October 5th for the November 3rd general election. For any questions and additional information, please check our elections voting webpage regularly. Again, your vote by mail ballots with a prepaid first-class postage will be mailed to all active registered voters without the need of an application. Garage space. We are looking for anyone willing to donate a space large enough to store the backup ambulance ring over the winter months. If you are able to help, please call the ambulance corps directly at 201-664-3784. DPW reminders. Loose leaves must be in barrels or paper bags for curbside pickup. Please visit our website for further information. Okay, there's no approval of minutes this evening. Mayor appointments, school crossing guard, school year 2020 to 2021. Angela Baccia, Eileen Farrell, James Mahalish, James Toner and Jack Walsh, and Anush Yanukian. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, I won't repeat the names, but I'm advising you that I'm appointing for the year 2020 to 2021 those citizens that Stacy just read off to the positions listed herein, and their terms will expire August 31st, 2021, and they are all school crossing guards. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move on to the report of the mayor. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Since my last monthly report was just given 2 weeks ago because of how the meeting calendar fell, tonight's report will be brief. We look forward to the council approving the award of the contract this evening for the construction of the new fire ambulance complex that will serve our residents and volunteers for many years into the future. I do not like spending these large amounts of taxpayer money, but this and many other projects being carried out now and during the past couple of years should have been done years ago so they could wait no longer. It is unfortunate that the spending for these projects could not be spread out over a longer time period. The one bright spot is we are borrowing the money for these projects at historically low interest rates. 2 of our long-serving town employees each lost a parent since my last report. I ask you in joining me in keeping them and their families in your thoughts and prayers. Being on the front line of communication for the township, our web and social media members, Heather Henry and Gina DiVirgilio, received many heartfelt messages of thanks and seized the opportunity to organize a collection of both funds and messages of gratitude to pass along, honoring our local hometown heroes with a storm response appreciation meal, of course abiding by socially distant protocol by department. They are happy to report that more than 150 grateful residents came together with funds and heartfelt messages to show their support for our emergency responders. The funds raised, combined with the generosity of each establishment, allowed residents to show their appreciation by providing a meal of each team's choosing as follows. Police Department was courtesy of Flynn's Deli. The Fire Department was courtesy of Original Pizza. DPW was courtesy of the Dog House. All departments of the Township office staff were courtesy of Grenada Grill, and the Volunteer Ambulance Corps is still to be determined. I wish all our children, parents, and teachers my best wishes for a good start to the school year during this trying time. Enjoy the balance of the unofficial end of summer. Thank you. Thanks, Stacey.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. And now we'll have the report of council. Councilman Cascio?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I hope everyone had a joyous summer and the students are ready back for another exciting year and different year of schooling and education. Regarding the Ninja platform, I think we could have went with something a little bit better. Ninja seems to be having some problems still, and I apologize to the townspeople for that. Other than that, I'm going to conclude my report at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman DeSena.
Thank you, Council President. Hope everyone had a joyous summer in this COVID environment. My condolences go out to all the residents we lost during the epidemic and also to the recently employees, parents who we lost. Second, I want to echo the mayor's sentiment that we are spending a lot of money for the new firehouse, which I am in full support of. It's something that is long overdue and needs to be done, including the DMF. So we checked off one of our boxes from our campaign a few years ago. The firehouse is going forward, and so is the ladder truck. hope to have more things going forward in the future. And that's all I have for tonight, Council President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Morgan.
Hi, I just want to echo the mayor's best wishes for all the parents who are sending their kids back to school and those who are homeschooling. We're all in this together, so I get that. I do want to address cheerleading, so please bear with me. I want to start out by addressing the Township Cheer Program. All summer long, I kept asking for updates so that I can update the parents of our 120 cheerleaders on the status of the season due to COVID-19. Consistently, I was told that the boys' numbers were low and they didn't think that we'd have a season due to COVID. I asked the superintendent of rec to open up registration to gauge interest so we can at least begin to prepare for a potential season, all the while continuing to check in with the rec director to get updates on the status of the season. I was very much kept in the dark and appeared to be only on a need-to-know basis with regard to the possible merger with Westwood. It is my understanding that due to only having 34 boys in total register for football, there was a potential we would merge with Westwood and all become Cardinals. This was on 8/19. It was only after I continued to call and request additional information that I was then told of the definite merger with Westwood. Nothing regarding the cheer program had even been discussed, and all of that was left to be negotiated. I cannot express enough how disappointed I am at the lack of communication and what appears to be blatant disregard for the 120 girls who participate in the cheer program. This program was clearly not considered important enough by anyone who participated at the table during the merger. The 34 boys were apparently more important than the 120 girls who also participate in this program. The amount of time for planning, coaching, fields, practice, locations, uniforms, parent involvement, the list can go on with how much preparation goes into this. The fact that this program has grown from about 50 girls 4 years ago to nearly 140 girls and continued to grow to date. The program was growing and thriving. And I was on the rec board and still wasn't important enough to be part of the discussion and the decision which affects all of these girls. It's truly a slap in the face to all of the girls, to me, to my co-coordinator, Teresa Alesso, and all of the parents and families who support the cheer program. It appears to me that only the football program was considered. However, we are a part of that program and should have been brought on. After the merger was said and done, I reached out to Westwood, and thankfully they graciously accepted our cheerleaders into the program. I am disappointed in the town's approach, the way the decision was made, and the lack of acknowledgement of the hard work that goes into this program. I'm sorry that I don't have something more positive to share, but as you can tell, I'm still reeling from all of this. Later on, I will have more information for the cheer families with a link and how to sign up for our new Cardinal cheer program. That's it. I can't hear you, Mike.
Stacy's talking and she's muted.
Oh,
I don't think she's muted.
I can't hear her.
Oh, I agree.
Okay.
But there's no slash across her mic on my screen.
But I can't hear her.
I agree. I can also not hear her.
I heard everything she said, so I don't know what's going on.
everything Stacy said?
Hmm?
You can hear Stacy, we can't hear her.
No. I heard
Desiree?
Miss Morgan. I heard Morgan. Yeah, Desiree. No, I can't hear her either. So
No, Desiree, I can hear. I can't hear Stacy.
no, Stacy, I can't hear you.
I can't hear it either, by the way.
Okay, actually, that was technical difficulties. My mute mic on my keyboard was on, not my mute mic on Ninja was on.
Okay.
Aha!
Okay, so that was not Ninja, just FYI. That was me and then user error. Okay, thank you very much, Councilwoman Morgan. Council Vice President Cummings.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. How's everyone? I wish to echo, unfortunately, I'm sorry, I have to echo the condolences to our 3 town employees who suffered grievous losses in their family groups during the most recent time. And a big shout out, thank you to the DPW who showed up at this end of Lincoln Park where there were 4 or 5 dangerous trees up on their stumps, ready to come down like a 30-inch slug of lumber and crush someone. And they sent 7 trucks and 15 guys for 3 hours to clear up the mess that was in the woods next to our residential area, 2 residential areas. So they've done a more than an outstanding job that I personally witnessed for 3 hours while I served the employees coffee and beverages. They've done an outstanding job. I look forward to finally completing the approval of the new firehouse, in which I was proud and pleased to have a hand talking to the mechanical engineer who specified the 11 heating systems and the control thereof. I look forward to the control systems being asked for proposals on the township, because I've been working on this for a year and the specs have been ready for 3 or 4 months. But of course, we've had COVID and family tragedies to deal with and other such things. I only hope that we get those installed quickly. I wish everyone good health and in the future, and a happy new school year to my grandchildren and all the other marvelous children in our great little town. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Cummings. I just want to say also condolences to our town employees who've lost close family members. I also want to say good luck and have a good year to all the families and school children in town. I know things are going to start off a little different, but I'm sure that everyone is going to work to make the school year great. And I also want to say I'm very disappointed to hear that Councilwoman Morgan was not in the loop on the cheer program. I know how much my daughter loves the cheer program and loves working with
Yes.
Desiree and the other moms in town, and I'm sad to see that there was a breakdown in communication. I hope we can improve on that moving forward. I also want to say that I'm very thankful to the members on this council for the ones who have made drastic efforts to work cooperatively, and I look forward to a fruitful and collaborative future going forward. And that's all I have for this evening. General public discussion. Please limit time to 5 minutes. To participate in the general public discussion comment portion of the meeting, please dial in on 201-664-4659. You will be asked to state your name and address for the record, and we ask that only one person speak at a time. Please note that at the end of the public comment, no more calls will be accepted. Please note this session is for public comment. No council member will be responding, and we would take all comments, and all council members will be able to respond at the end of the public comment portion. Motion to open the public comment. May I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Sue, please open the line. Sue, you might be on mute. If you could just unmute so we can hear the phone. Sue, please unmute your phone.
Is anyone talking?
I'm not
I don't
good.
hear anyone, Desiree.
I hear you.
Okay.
We hear you, Desiree.
How about that one?
I hear Sue now.
There we go.
Who's back?
You're
Thanks, Sue.
there.
Sorry, she didn't know she was on mute, so.
No, I did not realize that one. I was looking at all the other ones. Mrs. Zacconi, let's give this a shot.
Sorry, very sorry. Mr. Zacconi, how are you?
I wanted to comment on the awarding of the contract for the new emergency services building. Did you want to hear from me now on that, or you want me to wait till that item comes up? I'll pull back.
No, Mr. Zacconi, now is perfect. No, Mr. Zacconi, now is good.
What did you say?
Sue, can you tell him now is good?
You may now comment.
Oh, but you want it now?
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to say that this has been a long, arduous process to get to this point now, with the bonding and the delays and waiting for the bids to come through and everything else. It's been a long process, and the time has come, and we all know, you heard from me before, that that building is outdated, it's long overdue replacement. I just urge you to pass that tonight, and let's get moving so we can get this job out of the ground before the cold weather sets in. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on the line?
Yeah.
One at a time, please.
Sorry about that.
One of you needs to state your name for the record, please, and your address.
It's Kevin Zitko, 661 Jefferson Ave.
Thank you, Kevin.
Just as the fire chief, I just wanted to thank the mayor and council and the administration for their efforts and hard work on getting the firehouse project to this point. It's a necessary project as our emergency services have simply outgrown their current quarters over the last 50+ years, and we are just unable to operate safely out of our current buildings. Hopefully tonight we can bring this phase of the project across the finish line, and we can look forward to the beginning of the construction soon. In addition to the mayor and council, I would also be remiss if I did not also thank the members of the ambulance corps from the fire department who dedicated countless hours to the designing, planning, and review of all the aspects brought together in designing the building. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Chief Zitko.
Is there anyone else on the line?
Yes.
Okay. You could state your name and address?
Joe Darso, 12 Loyola Terrace. Two questions. I'd like to have an update on the paving on Loyola Terrace. We were trying to get the small foot, was supposed to start and stop right at the week of the power outages in town. Our street is met, especially as you come into Viola, especially at the top of the cul-de-sac. Just appreciate somebody getting back to my neighbor who's kind of spearheading this whole thing with the Administrator Tovo and the Mayor, Mr. Lerner, on Viola Terrace. We're waiting for responses. He seems to be our point person, and we're all frustrated. Our street is a mess, and we'd like an update. And my second thing is, I would hope after tonight's meeting that we really go back to the council chambers, even if the public's not allowed in. It would be much easier. For me, it's just hard to hear you. Some people are muted. There's feedback, and if I'm on the line, I know to mute my phone. Other people, you hear feedback in the background. So that's just my comment. Have a great night.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on the line?
Is there anyone else?
Yes, hello.
Hello?
Hello, this is Michael Ullman, 2 Clark Avenue.
Yes, Mr. Ullman. Good evening. How are you?
Mr. Ullman, you may speak.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wachowski. I am calling regarding, or I'd like to comment regarding Resolution 20-271, the awarding of the bid and contract for the new emergency service complex. There appears to be an error in the referencing, and I don't know if it causes an issue with the validity, but Bond Ordinance 19-13 was not passed. It was not adopted. The actual bond ordinance for this is 19-19. I would think that we have a director of finance and administrator, a CFO, and a lawyer that, you know, together bring down $275K, and we can't get this reviewed and have it appropriately referenced. So I don't know if referencing a bond ordinance that was not adopted invalidates the resolution, but perhaps someone could comment on that. With regard to the bid amount, on July 15th, 2019, we were presented, the council at the time and the public were presented with an order or an estimate of $6,082,000 for the construction of the building, site work, demolition, professional fees, reproduction, basically an all-in cost of $6,082. Of that $6,082, the building was estimated at $5,128,000. We're now up to $5,329,000, an increase of $201,000 over the projected budget or the last budget that I saw. I'm wondering if anyone could speak to that overage and that growth. The other thing is, in the professional fees, there are $415,000. Mr. Conley is contracted for $396,000. This evening, the council is being asked to pass bill payment, and in those bill payments are two invoices from Boswell Engineering for work done on the emergency services building, totaling $27,000. So we're already over the professional service fees that were projected of $415,000, and you know, we haven't even started. So I would appreciate if someone from the administration could address some of these numbers. And also, are we still looking at a building that is going to be brought in under $6 million, or has that number come? Thank you very much.
Stacy, you're on mute. Stacy, you're muted.
Is there anyone else on the line? Hello, anyone else? Does not appear to be.
Okay, motion to close public discussion. May I have a motion? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I just want to reiterate, before when I was on mute was not Ninja, it was me, so that was user error, not Ninja, just to be clear. The mute button on my keyboard was on, not on the Ninja platform. Okay. Ordinances, second, adoption of second reading, none. Introduction and first reading, none. Individual resolutions. The following items have been determined to have unanimous consent of council and will be enacted in one motion. Should any item require independent consideration, any council member may have such item removed from consent agenda. Does anyone have any of these resolutions that they want to be removed from consent agenda for discussion?
Can you
I would
remove
like
271 be removed for separate vote, please?
for a separate vote or discussion?
Discussion and separate vote.
Okay.
Stacy, this is
Yes.
this is Ken. In the meantime, can somebody check on the correct bond number that was brought up by Mr. Ullman?
Yes,
That
Sue,
is the one thing that should be corrected.
Sue, do you have the previous information?
Let me do a little bit of research while you people are talking, okay?
Stacy, will
Okay,
we,
so just wait.
Stacy,
So
will we be able to respond
Or we might have to
to,
take a break.
Stacy, will we be able to respond to the public comments?
sure, we could do that now while Sue's going to look for the correct bond number. So why don't we do that? Sue, is that fine with you if you're not there?
I'd rather be here so I could take notes.
Okay,
Well,
so
Maybe we could take a
let's
5-minute break and
do, no, let's do comment and then we'll take a 5-minute break. Okay, does Councilman Cassio, do you have any comments?
Sure. Yes, I do. Let me just give Mr. Zacone and Mr. Zitko reassurances that we will be passing that much-needed funding and bid award for the firehouse. It's long overdue. I've been pushing for it for a while, and I'm glad we're finally going to get some shovels in the ground. I know it's an expensive undertaking to the citizens of Washington Township, but we do need one. I've been looking at that same firehouse for the last 50 years, and it was good in its time, but now its time has passed. Regarding Mr. Durso's comment with the use of the Ninja system or any system for that matter, I think probably at this time it's safe to go back into hold these meetings at in the council chambers at a reasonable distance, doing it safely. If you want to use masks, I don't see a problem with that, and I would welcome that very much. And for Mr. Holman, I thank you for bringing up the discrepancy, and we are going to check in on that and make sure everything is in order as it should be. Thank you. I conclude.
Thank you, Councilman Cassio. Councilman DeSena.
A few things. I agree with Dr. Cassio's statement. I'd be willing to go back and put these meetings back to some order inside the council chambers with masks on and socially distancing ourselves and returning back to the council chambers. Hopefully we'll be there for the next meeting. It would be nice. Also, I know Mr. Durso talked about Viola Terrace, and I know in the past, Mr. Tova, has the drainage work been done so they could do the paving on Viola Terrace?
Drainage has been done, but we have an issue with the sewer line there. We're trying to find the proper solutions.
Is this a new issue versus the old issue?
No, this is a new one. It's not the drainage. It's the stormwater or sewer line. The Boswell is working to come up with a plan.
Okay. And I just want to say I'm in full support of the firehouse. Hopefully the administration has looked at the numbers coming in higher than the original Connolly estimate, and we'll still be able to bring the budget numbers on task like we said we would. That's all I have, Council President Feeney.
Thank you. Councilwoman Morgan.
Not to be redundant, but I'm definitely ready to go back to chambers as well. And I know that we can do it safely. So really, that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Council Vice President Cummings.
No comment at this time, except I'm in support of the firehouse.
Thank you. Mine will also be short. I am in support of the firehouse. I believe that Ninja has been the best for us right now, especially with the problems with Zoom in the past. The fact that we're doing the best we possibly can, and there's some people who aren't using the Ninja platform on this meeting at all. So we need to keep that in mind. That would be better if we were all using the platform together. That would be a much improvement to the meetings. But I also am ready to go back into the courtroom and have in-person meetings. I believe we should be okay. Okay, and then Sue, I believe the ordinance, it was the amended ordinance for the firehouse, correct?
Yes, there is one for 1919. I just sent it to Mr. Poller.
Okay, and so it's not 18-21, right?
No.
Okay, so yeah, it's 1919. So where on the sheet?
Come on, guys.
So it
What
says
number?
19-13 is on here. That's wrong. So 19-13 isn't even on the list. Well, it's the original bond ordinance, construction emergency services building. So we need the amended one. So it should be 19-19.
Correct.
19-19 doesn't even show up in Edmonds.
Well, it is on the list of what's on the website.
Yeah.
So these are the ordinances that have been introduced and ready for public hearings at the council meeting.
And it was signed by Michael and myself,
Right,
adopted October 7, 2019.
right.
That is correct. I just looked at mine.
Was somebody else entering the bond ordinances into the system prior to you, Mr. Tova, in October? It was just, maybe it was just not put in there, or?
In the Edmonds system, ordinance 1913 is listed as being fully funded at $6 million. There is no 1919 in the system.
Okay, so, Mr. Pollard, at this point, what do we do?
We can't identify tonight which is the right bond ordinance.
It's gotta be 19-19 if that's on the website, right?
If you know the right ordinance, that all you have to do is change the number by hand. That's perfectly okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I can change that and have it signed tomorrow. That's not a problem.
perfect, perfect.
You know me, I'll sign anything.
Only the good stuff.
That's
Only the
what the
good stuff.
assistant provost at Teaneck fairly said. Dr. Case, he was a good man. He said, I'll sign anything.
Okay,
So are we taking a break so we can straighten this out, or are we
No.
charging full ahead?
no, we
Charging
should
ahead.
be good now. We're charging ahead.
Yep.
I
Okay.
agree. Okay, all right, so here we go.
I have
So,
be
I
reminded
don't need to
what we're
pull,
doing.
Stacy, if we're putting the right bond ordinance, I don't need to pull it out of the resolution then.
okay, fine, perfect. So let's get
If
this
everybody
stuff
else is
passed
okay
then.
with that.
Wouldn't you want to on general principles?
No, let's,
It's
As
been
long
done
as we're identifying the right bond ordinance, I was okay with it.
okay, perfect. Okay, all right,
All
so
right.
the following items have been determined to have the unanimous consent of council and will be enacted in one motion. Should any item require independent consideration? We've already been down this road. Okay, so resolution number 20-262, authorize payment of bills August 14, 2020 to August 26, 2020. Resolution number 20-263, authorize removal of interest charge due to interruption of service for various online payments, August 10, 2020, in the total amount of $138.24. Resolution number 20-264, authorized refund overpayments of property taxes made by CoreLogic various parcels in the total amount of $36,277.23. Resolution number 20-265, authorized cancellation of future tax bills and refund of third-party property taxes B4321, Lot 2, 435 Mountain Avenue in the amount of $4,025.75. Resolution number 20-266, authorized refund of overpayment of property taxes made by Wells Fargo B1102, Lot 3, 769 Van Emberg Avenue in the amount of $3,436.75. Resolution number 20-267, authorized refund of overpayment of property taxes B2408, Lot 1, C316B, 16 Sutton Way in the amount of $2,595.25. Resolution number 20-268, authorized refund of overpayment of property taxes made by Passaic Valley Title Services, B3106.01, Lot 17, 587 Concord Lane in the amount of $27.29. Resolution number 20-269, authorized refund of overpayment of property taxes B3201, Lot 1, C062C, 62 Woodbury, O'Brien in the amount of $62.89. Resolution number 20-270, authorized adjustment of public bidding thresholds to 44,000 with certified QPA. Resolution number 20-271, award of contract to TechCon Construction, Inc., located at 200 Cottontail Lane, Suite A, 112W, Somerset, New Jersey, 08873 for the Emergency Services Complex, 656 Washington Avenue, in the amount of $5,329,183. Motion to approve consent agenda resolutions. I'll make the motion.
moved.
Anybody second?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Congratulations.
I think you ought to have a roll call vote.
Okay.
Madam President, if
For,
I may, for this series of ordinances, because there's,
if you'd like to, you can.
just because you have the one for $5 million.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Madam President.
You're very welcome. Okay, adjournment to conference agenda. May I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Second?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Yes.
Okay. All right, administration, Mr. Tovo, the project tracker. Okay.
There's only a few updates since the last time you received the tracker. First paving, we have met with PSE&G, who has substantially delayed our progress. We have agreement now that we have the green light to go ahead and pave any roads that were on our road program list. If they need to come back in later and affect those roads, they will be responsible for a full repave, or the permit will be denied. As I alluded to earlier, we are running into some issues with sewer lines under the roads that we are paving. We are working to resolve them in the most sensible way possible, but that is a reason for the delays. As we all know, we have a very aging infrastructure there, and we're going to run into more and more of this as we do more roads and scope those lines.
So, Mr. Tovo, on the road paving, I've gotten a lot of complaints, and I've taken a look at some of the roads. There's quite a few issues with the curbs that they've put in. They're very rough. They're uneven. They're not done very well. The other problem is that they've laid so much macadam down, or I'm not sure if I'm using the right language, that the step up from the curve, from the asphalt to the top of the curve, is about this much, where before it was much higher. So streets where there's water problems, the water is going to be coming up over the curves if we do have water on those streets. And I honestly think that needs to be addressed sooner rather than later.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you bringing it to my attention. It's the first complaint of that nature I've heard. If you could ask people to call me, or you or council reach out to me directly so we can get on them while they're out there working, we will do that.
Okay. It was partly on Crestwood and Howard and Calvin, and when they were working on the other side of town, I'll send you the streets. I definitely think that that needs to get looked at, because as soon as we have a water issue, the water's going to flood the front of these people's properties.
Understood. We will have the engineer look at that tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
Staying on this page, basketball courts are largely done. There needs to be some plantings done and some work done actually on the street paint for the courts. They're coming tomorrow to look at that.
Mr. Tovo, can I just ask you one question? That strip along Pascack, that 2-foot grass strip, the ankle breaker, that's not being paved. We're putting grass there.
Be more specific as to where it is.
There's a walkway that comes off of Pascack Road, and it runs parallel with Pascack across the basketball courts to the parking lot. And in between the basketball courts and that path is about a 2-foot area that is missing asphalt. I'm going to call it the ankle breaker, because somebody's going to fall on that little grass area and break an ankle. Why did we not pave that little strip?
I don't recall. I will look at that first thing tomorrow and get you an answer.
You'll see. It's like for some reason, I guess somebody thought it would be a nice idea to have grass in between the sidewalk and the asphalt sidewalk and the basketball court, but it's right at the edge of both of them, and somebody, it's going to sink eventually, and somebody's going to fall in and break an ankle.
Understood. I'll look at that tomorrow.
It's inside where the basketball courts are, and it's on the street side.
It's
I'm just
inside.
trying to. It's inside. Okay.
Yeah, when you drive by, you'll see they ran a path. It runs from the gate entrance to the pavilion, then all the way to the coach parking area, and then they built the basketball courts 2 foot off that path. But they left like a little strip, which I guess they were planning on putting dirt and grass there. But it's always going to erode there, and it's going to be a problem.
Okay.
All right, next I'm going to signage. The town signs have been ordered. Should be a 78-week turnaround on that. And on page 2, I apologize, the grant writer was on vacation, so I will have a report from him hopefully for our next meeting. That concludes my update on the tracker.
Okay.
Mrs. Feeney, can I ask Mr. Tova a question? A couple months ago, we asked about the radio system update, and we never received anything on that, Mr. Tova. Any update on that?
We are still working on pricing and different vendor options for the end user radios. As recently as Friday, we were making progress on that, but it's a slow road trying to get the right numbers out of Motorola and their competitors right now. So we're working diligently to get that and get this resolved. Keep in mind that
this is a 3-year process. Yeah, this is going on way too long.
Well, listen, we're looking at migrating to the county system, and the county system is not ready to even take us on yet. The repeater that would service our community is not fully installed yet. So, this time is being spent valuably to make sure we get the right pricing.
I understand that, but we made the citizens of the township and the departments a promise that we get this. We bonded the money, we have it ready to go, and we got to get more updates, whether it's got to be enclosed or open, but we need to know more about this because it's taken way too long. And I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying.
Disagree with if you've been involved with these kind of radio build-outs, they take quite a while to do. Okay?
Well,
There's a lot of studies.
It's been 3 years, and that's too long for me.
Well, it has not been 3 years that we've been involved with this. You only hired a consultant in 2018.
It was before 2018.
I have to disagree with that. You may have talked about it, but that's
2 years. Whatever it is, it's taking way too long. We need to expedite this because it's something that we know is an issue with the township, and we need to resolve it. Whether we do something temporarily, like I've asked for the last 2 years, and get it to work better, or because if it's going to be more years, something needs to happen, and I'm not going to let somebody perish because of this taking so long. And I just want to put it on the record.
All temporary issues have been exhausted, so therefore we will make sure we do this once and we do it correctly.
Okay.
Mr. Tova, could you please, the temporary issues that you've exhausted, could you submit them to council just so that everybody can be aware that they've been explored? Or just some notes on it that you've looked at all those problems? Okay.
I don't know if you heard me. Yes, we will do that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just wanted.
Excuse me.
Oh,
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I apologize.
No, go ahead.
I wonder if we could add the energy management system onto the tracker somehow, if there's a line that could accommodate that, so we can follow and make sure it gets done as soon as possible, because we've been working on this for over a year now, and that was because I had to develop the specs and the list of equipment, and that's all been done, so I'd like to move forward with it, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Cummings, we'll do that. Keep in mind that we appreciate how long you've worked on it, but without it being funded, we weren't able to move forward, and now we can, so it will be added to the tracker.
Understood. Thank you kindly, Mr. Delvo.
I have a lot of questions with the grant writer. He's going to be at the next meeting?
No, the intent was for him to prepare a report at the next meeting. If you would like him there, I can check on his availability.
Yeah, I think there are definitely. I've been fielding some questions about things that we have, grants we've applied for, and and I'm not equipped to answer them. And I don't know that his report is transparent enough, and I don't want to say that word, but is thorough enough for maybe some of the questions aren't on that report. So maybe he can be available for the next meeting.
Sue, can you put him in for the beginning of next meeting so that we can time it so he's on the call? We can put our questions out. He could have his report then.
Absolutely.
Thank
So
you.
to your point, Ms. Morgan, if you have any questions from the, or regarding the grant writer, please reach out to me and we'll get them answered.
Okay, perfect. I will. I definitely will. Thank you.
I was wondering, Mr. Tovo, has the training been delayed for the software that's on the project tracker because of COVID?
Unfortunately, well, yeah, that was our first problem, and then it was scheduled to start 2 weeks ago, but because of a death in the family here, it was delayed and will begin next week.
Oh, okay, so it'll begin next week. Great. Okay, thank you. And then also PSE&G, have they finished putting in the trees they said they would, or are we still waiting for them to install more trees in town?
They still have more work to do.
They do. Okay.
They do, yes.
I don't have anything else. Does anyone have anything else from the project tracker that they'd like to discuss? Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Tovo. Okay, miscellaneous items. There's no ordinance and legislation discussion. There's no financials discussion. Miscellaneous. Okay. Councilwoman Morgan, rec cheer program update and status.
Okay, so this is just to let the cheer families know that, as I mentioned, Westwood has graciously taken our girls, but they are only going to take the 3rd through 8th, so Pee Wee, Junior, Senior this year due to COVID restrictions and social distancing. We're not really sure that the K through 2 girls, being so young, are able to really understand or be able to comply with social distancing. So they're going to be taking the 3rd grade through 8th grade girls. Practices start very soon on September 16th, Wednesday, 2 days after the first day of school. And they will be Mondays and Wednesdays from 6 to 7:30. Where, we have not figured that piece out yet, but that's to be determined. The piece that I am going to try to work on is how to get the link to the town. So Mr. Tovo or somebody may be able to help me, Mr. Mayor, about maybe on Community Pass we can put the link that I think it's important to note that Westwood Cheer is not part of the rec department. They are a private entity. So their registration goes directly to this private Westwood Cheer, and it's through like Sign Up Genius. So the parents will need to go on to the Sign Up Genius and then pay the first day that they go to practice in person. It's not done like it was on Community Path. So it's only going to be open for 1 week due to the fact that we need to get going on this. So I am asking that somehow, I don't know how we can do this, but if we can somehow put the link on Community Pass. Is that possible?
Yeah. We'll be happy to work with you on that, Desiree, be it Community Pass, or if you need another method of doing it, you let us know what you think is best.
All right,
Hey, Pete.
terrific.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, could we use, could Desiree send it over to Heather as soon as she has it, and then Heather will put it up on the website? Would that work?
Yeah, whatever we do, we'll make sure we do in a coordinated fashion.
Okay,
Desiree,
perfect. Okay.
Desiree, you can send out in Community Pass, you have the database already from last year. It'll let you email every one of your constituents through messaging on Community Pass with the link. If you need help doing that, I can assist you with that. We do it in baseball all the time.
Can she limit it by age?
Yes, you can limit it by age. Yeah, if it's, as long as it was set up that way.
I just don't want the K through 2nd grade parents
That's
to get upset. Yeah.
Right.
And Emma's going to be disappointed.
And just so you know, for those families that are, wondering, the K through 2 is only because that, because of the COVID restrictions, they have agreed to, we're going to work out a program where we're going to try to have K and first is going to be more of an intro to cheer here in town. And 2nd grade will be part of the Cardinal team in Westwood. So they will cheer for the games once they're in second grade, but they will be engaged in cheer and preparing for cheer in K through first grade. So a little bit different than we were doing it when it was in town, but I think it's going to be, it's going to be really nice. So that's that.
Thank you. Grease trap procedures follow-up. Sue sent out some other town's ordinance for review. Sue, do you have any comments on this?
No, just read and see if there's anything that hit you that you think we should be doing, and then we can present it, at a conference agenda to Mr. Poller, and maybe he can incorporate it.
Okay, I just wanted to say I read some of the forms. I like the Borough of Dumont's sheet with the approvals on it that show, what's going on, and then I like their language. It's very clean and clear. I don't know if anyone else had a particular one that they cared for.
Yeah, I did.
I agree with you, Stacy.
Like Paramus and Carlstadt, they had some really, really specifics in there and some teeth in their fines and how they want it done. So those two I thought were really good, especially with regard to cleaning, frequency thereof, and the big thing is the maintenance log, the retention of records. So those are the ones that I really enjoyed.
Retention of records.
All enjoyable reading.
Right. Right, and I do like, I know Ricky doesn't have it, but I like this that shows the ordinance, and then again, the log I think is great, and I think that if we keep it with the records, like Councilman DeSena has said in the past, then, the violations too are severe. On some of them, it's like $2,000, or, which I think for a small business is a good amount of like Councilman Casio said, with teeth. So
I think if they're required to keep a log, we won't have to worry about it, because right now they're required to do really nothing. So if they're required to keep logs and record their waste product, they'll stay on top of it, I think. So.
And just so everyone's aware in the town, we don't currently have anything for this. So that's, we're not amending something. We're looking to put this into place.
May I interject something regarding the fines? In my experience with many municipal fines in court, the fine stated is probably the maximum allowable. The judge can see fit to impose anything he wants from $1 up to the $2,000 range, or whatever the top limit might be. So that's probably a top limit. I don't think everybody every time is always going to get a $2,000 fine. That's not the way it works.
Okay.
I know we were concerned about that, where the littering of masks and so on was concerned, but the typical fine for littering is about $150 at the most to $250 for flagrancy. Although it can go up to $2,000 if someone gets really rambunctilious.
And then who's responsible? Oh, sorry. Who's responsible for confirming? Is this part of the health department? Do we need someone in town who's going to be responsible for checking the health department? So do we need to add this? Do we need to add this to our agreement with Northwest Bergen?
I think that should be pursued. It should be logically pursued, I believe.
So Mr. Toba, we would need to expand our agreement with Northwest Bergen.
I don't think we need to expand it. We need to make sure that once we draft an ordinance, they have the opportunity to review it before we take a vote.
Okay.
Good thought. Thank you, Mr.
So it's not going to increase our current fee with Northwest.
I see no reason why it would.
Okay. Maybe we could just get something from them saying that it's included in the services we have. I know you sent the agreement out a while ago, but I didn't take a look on it.
Well, I think if anything, the ordinance that we're considering does put more work on them. There would be a potential that there could be increased fees. So I think we need to craft what we desire, let them review, and let us know if that's going to have an impact on the service.
Okay.
Excuse me, Sue, could you check with the other towns that we have and find out how they're enforcing it? And if they have an extra fee with Northwest? Could you reach out to them?
Mm-hmm. Sure can.
Thank you, Sue.
Also, I'm thinking it may be included in our rate, but we're just not using it because we don't have an ordinance, so it could go either way.
That's what I think, Mr. Mayor. I think that's what it is, to be quite honest with you.
Well,
I'm sorry, Doctor, do you think that if they submitted their logs on a monthly basis, this periodical arrangement is for cleaning the traps, and when the reports come in that indicate a trap has been cleaned, then they're in compliance, so that can merely be kept in a file somewhere. I don't know that we need a person to go out and look at it.
That's true. You wouldn't send someone out every month to look at it. It would be a spot check, and a lot of towns do spot checks of logs as well.
Uh-huh.
Like Glen Rock, it's a surprise when they come.
I'll check with my contacts over in Fairlawn where they have a lot of trap maintenance and see what they do about that.
Good.
Stacy?
Great, Mr. Cummings. Thank you.
Stacy?
Yes, Sue.
May I repeat
Yes,
the
sir.
conversation that you and I had when I spoke with Northwest Bergen Regional, how they do address some of these when they go out?
Sure, absolutely, yes.
When this had come up, I had reached out to Northwest Bergen Regional Health Commission, and I had spoken to Darlene Mandeville. And I asked her about, inspections and logs, and she said what they will go out and do is mainly when they go out and do an inspection, let's say there are 3 sinks. They will have them put the water all the way to the top on all 3 and then release it. And if one of them is very slow, that's when they start with where's the maintenance? Do you have a log? Did you do this? Did you do that? They do spot check inspections. I don't believe they schedule them per se, because they want to do it on notice, where it's, hello, we're here and what do you got? So they do some of it already, but we don't have anything in our end to back it up. So I think it's a good idea to move forward. This way they have something on their own to sink into with these businesses. So there is some addressing, but not to an extent that you're looking for, because we don't have it.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Sue.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody else, do we want to have Mr. Pollard draft something now, or do we want?
Continue to review it, Stace, a little bit longer and get Mr. Cumming feedback and
Sure.
the other folks, if we don't mind, then maybe we could draft something for the next meeting.
Okay, so
I'll try to forward something to Sue within 2 days to disseminate to the council, if I may.
That's great.
Okay, so if we get all the information we need, Mr. Pollard, can you put something rough together, maybe with some points, and then we can decide which direction to go in?
It comes in, but what I'd like to see, will Northwest have any input in terms of a preference for somebody's ordinance also, in terms of what they think?
Yeah.
I think we put that input as well.
Yes, that would be a good idea too.
Sue,
That's a good idea.
Mr. Tovo or Sue, could you reach out to them?
Yes, I will do that.
Thank you, Mr. Tovo.
Yeah, or you could do it together. I mean, that would be a good thing. Okay. All right. So everybody's good there. Any more discussion on that?
No.
No, thank you.
Okay. Shared service agreement with Bergen County bona fide e-procurement software services. Mr. Tovo and Sue, you're up.
What are we doing? What is this?
This really began with the COVID-19 outbreak. County was looking for a mechanism where we could cure PPE in large quantities and therefore save some money in the process. Unfortunately, it's taken some time to put this together. We are under no obligation to use it, but beyond PPE, if there's any large-scale purchasing and we can benefit by a reduction in cost by doing so, it's a valuable tool that we can utilize from now going forward.
So would we be required to go to them first before we went to see if anybody else had anything for us to purchase, or how would that? I was looking through, I didn't see if that they had to be consulted first, and it's a 5-year. term.
There's no requirement to do that, but in an ideal scenario, for example, we need to order more PPE in, numbers of hundreds. And if we contact them and they're already making an order in the thousands, and therefore there's a couple of dollars off per item, it would make sense to take part in that purchase. But we're not obligated to.
I think it's a worthwhile effort to join the shared service agreement.
I couldn't hear you, Mr. DeSena.
I think it's a worthwhile effort to join the shared service and have it available to the administration and the citizens of the township. It can't hurt us.
I agree.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm good, as long as, it's an option, it's not mandatory.
And that is correct.
So does Mr. Paulo have to draft something, Mr. Tova?
Yeah, I have to do a resolution.
Stacy, can we just take a quick straw vote that everybody's okay with it?
Yeah, I was gonna wait for the resolution. Does anybody else have any more discussion or any more questions about it?
I'm good with it.
Everybody get to review it? You're good with it?
I'm good with it.
Okay. All right, so, Mr. Pollard, you're up. So resolution for next meeting, please?
Yeah.
Marvelous. Let's move along. Marvelous.
Okay. Councilman DeSena, sidewalk inventory list.
I would just, I know we've been asking for this list now for a while. I know it's tough in this COVID-19 environment to ask people to fix their sidewalks that are damaged, but I would just like to know what the status of the list is. I know it's been prepared by Mr. Sedekase. I would just like to know where it is and what we are planning to do with it.
Well, I think it's more accurate to say that our code enforcement official does deal with homeowners on a regular basis regarding their sidewalks in an effort to make repairs or get a timeline for those repairs to be made. I can't say there's specifically a list that covers every one of those different issues or different dealings you have with homeowners, but this is an area where the tracking software would be a great advantage to both code enforcement and to council, so we can generate reports from that and better track, if a homeowner says I can have it done in 2 months, then, it'll flag up in 2 months and he'll know to go check it to ensure that's happened. So I think there have been some great efforts made to date. I think better use of the tracking software will give the council the comfort they need in knowing it's being done and being followed up on.
Mr. Tolo, I know in the past, before the new year, we were getting a monthly list of all the calls that were made to the DMF. Could we start receiving that list again?
I'm sorry, Councilman, what did you say? You kind of blurred. A list of
I
what?
said before the new year, we were receiving a monthly list of all the calls and all the DPW issues that were called into town hall. Can we start getting that list again?
Well, it wasn't the new year, actually. It was 2 years ago you stopped getting that because I stopped getting them.
Oh, okay.
So again, that is part of the tracking software. When those calls come in, we can log them in there, and then we can generate a monthly report for the council.
It stopped I'm looking at my files now. It stopped in August of 2019. That was the last list we received.
Mr. DeSena, what do you mean DPW?
We used to get every time somebody called the DMF administrative secretary or assistant, we would get a monthly log of all the calls and who was notified and if it was rectified or not. And
Okay.
The last report I have was last August. Oh, excuse me, it's last July. Excuse me.
Can you send that to me?
I will PDF it and send it to you, Mr. Toa.
Thank you.
It's the handwritten sheet we used to always get. Yep.
Why would that stop? Did they go electronic and they just let it go, or why would that stop?
Well, initially, I can say the information on it was rather incomplete, and it did really truly track the event, just why the event occurred. So we're only telling half a story in many cases, and that's why the software is so imperative. So we're giving complete information from the time the complaint is generated to the time first action is taken and when it's finally resolved.
Okay.
Thank you.
Somebody's got a dog.
See, the dog even agrees.
Lola says time to adjourn.
Okay, does anybody have anything else for the sidewalk inventory list or the DPW list?
May I suggest we check whatever sidewalk is going to be used for the new commuter route? That's got to be kept, if it's going to be, what is it, Bethany to the bus stop? That area has got to be pristine and liability-free. So that should be walked.
Has that been confirmed, Mr. Cumming, what you just said?
I don't know. That's what's discussed at one of the last meetings, yes?
That's why I'm just asking if that's the definitive path. That's all.
I'm sorry, I
think
don't know anything.
I think the discussion is not meant for this
Forum.
I think nothing is confirmed right now.
I'm sorry.
I think the entire council would agree.
Can I just, this is completely off topic, but it's probably perfect time to interject. I have a question. We had received an email, remember, from someone saying that the garbages were overflowing. Speaking of DPW issues, how often are the garbages in the shopping center and the parks, how often do those get changed?
I can't answer for the shopping center, but I know that our parks and playgrounds are emptied on a very frequent basis.
What
Is the shopping center the town's responsibility, or is that the shopping center?
No, that's private.
Okay, so if there's overflowing, because it's pretty awful, I guess, with everyone hanging out, all the people are now out and walking and they're eating out in front of Dunkin' Donuts. That garbage there is overflowing. There's cups on the floor. It's really looking not like Washington Township used to look. So if it looks like that, we would the landlord of that property the same as any person in town, and they would have to be.
I would agree, and if I'm notified of that, I will send code enforcement out to address it.
Okay. And then you said pretty frequently in the parks that once a week, a couple times a week. How often is that? Just because we do.
It really depends on the level of use. Obviously, this time of year they are done more frequently, and the winter months, fewer times. But I know when I've inspected the parks, the cans have been in excellent condition.
It's more.
We forwarded that letter today to Mr. Tovo. I forwarded it to Mr. Tovo and the mayor, so maybe we could just look into that issue that the woman was referring to at Clark Fields.
But
we're going to look into that. We already have some answers to that, and
good.
It's not really an issue of our people cleaning it up. It's overnight activity that we believe she's referring to.
Okay.
Overnight activity. Can you give a little clarification on that?
Just older juveniles being there at night and leaving garbage, about the parks and not throwing them in the receptacles. And DPW can't always get there first thing in the morning. So if you're there first thing in the morning, you may see something that looks a little messy until we have a chance to address it. So really, we need to, I think we're doing well on our collection side of it, but we need to look at the enforcement side of it as well.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, that woman complained and wrote the letter that I read. Should have been on the phone to the police if she saw someone climbing a chain link fencing on the roof of a building. And why didn't she?
I bring that up because just from walking around the town myself, I'm noticing that there's a lot more garbage in the public area garbages, just because people are doing the right thing, putting it in the garbage, but it's overflowing.
There's a million kids over at the shopping center this afternoon when I was there.
Yeah, and they have every right to be. It's just that I'm saying the more usage, maybe we need to up the amount of times that the garbages get. All I was thinking, to address higher activity.
Absolutely.
We will certainly check on that and step it up if need be.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anybody have anything else? Otherwise, I'm going to adjourn the meeting. Motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.